The Finance Committee recommends the approval of agenda item number 6. Moving right along to our Academic Committee proposals. We do have a consent agenda for this committee. Number 1 on the agenda item, it's actually item number 7, just so you know, has been removed from the agenda. So we will begin the agenda with item number 8. So action item number 8 is a new program for a Master of Arts and Graduate Certificate in Organizational Development and Learning by Arkansas Tech University. The Master of Arts and Graduate Certificate in Organizational Development and Learning begins on page 8.1 of the agenda book. Mr. Campbell will provide background for this item.
Thank you, Chair Bigger. This master's program is a fully online interdisciplinary program consisting of 30 credit hours with a 24 credit hour organizational development, leadership, and learning focus core and a block of 6 credit hours of graduate level electives. The graduate certificate in organizational development and learning consists of the first 12 credit hours of the Master of Arts core. The elective credit hours within the master's program allow specialization in nonprofit leadership, emergency management, health informatics, student affairs administration, gerontology, research methods and assessment, or interdisciplinary studies. The programs increase the stackability options for students at ATU, particularly for those enrolled in the Bachelor of Arts in Organizational Leadership program, and many 2-year programs aligned with the BA in Org Leadership. The programs are built on ATU's current offerings. There's no current need for additional faculty or facilities or revenue in order to offer this proposed program. Projected initial enrollment is 15 students by AY of 24, with overall cumulative enrollment of 45 students by AY 28. Projected initial graduates are 10 by AY of 26, with up to 33 by AY of 28. And Dr. Sandy Smith is here today to speak to your consideration of the program and respond to any questions from the board. Thanks, Dr.
Good morning, Dr. Smith.
Good morning. Thank you. This organizational development and learning. Okay. The question is, can I know how to take care of there you go. Organizational development and learning, it has a core focus on organizational leadership, learning, and development. It will develop leaders, effective leaders at all organizational levels, and allow the graduates to influence an organization's culture, productivity, and team strength. You ask, so what's the workforce analysis? This workforce analysis that's in front of you is based on data from the ONET repository of occupational information and is sponsored by the U.S. Department of Labor. Many who will need this degree or would want this advanced degree will come from many sectors. This is only showing you that which is for training and development managers. It's an innovative, collaborative, and efficient design based upon an interdisciplinary program utilizing graduate courses, as Mr. Campbell has already said, specifically from business, emergency management and homeland security, management, student affairs administration, and organizational development and learning courses. It's a most innovative program that addresses the needs of those in the region and the nation seeking a graduate degree for leadership positions in diverse professional settings. There's not a similar existing degree in the nation. As Mr. Campbell shared with you, it's fully online. It's a 30 credit hour program. It is flexible, allowing students to be able to package their elective course hours into the specific areas that Mr. Campbell's already cited. And it's purposefully designed to utilize existing courses for the first 2 semesters. Students won't begin taking a course that was designed specifically for this program until their 3rd semester. Here's the curriculum. And again, the focus areas being emergency management, gerontology, health informatics, nonprofit leadership, student affairs administration, research methods and assessment, and interdisciplinary studies. For the graduate certificate curriculum, as Mr. Campbell already pointed out, it's utilizing the first 4 courses that the students would take within the master's program. We expect that 85 of those seeking the Masters of Arts in Organizational Development and Learning will opt in for this graduate certificate. And we estimate a projected enrollment of 15 to 20 certificate-only seeking students in the first 3 years of the program. This graduate certificate has been designed for those individuals seeking to continue their education to build skills specific to leadership and organizational development. It fits Arkansas Tech University's strategic plan alignment, specifically with goals 1, 4, and 5. Again, efficient delivery. What kind of impact is it to the budget at Arkansas Tech University? None. There is no impact to the budget. We expect the graduation projections. Oops. Oh. My apologies. Thank you. Our graduation projections are based upon typical graduate retention rates, and the projected enrollment is based on our best guesstimate based upon undergraduate interest. We plan to recruit from active duty, military installations for this degree, and other business entities, as well as from our undergraduates. These salary projections are based solely on the occupational outlook for training and development managers. The Masters of Arts and Organizational Development degree and the graduate certificate is an interdisciplinary by design to apply to multiple career fields. Are there any questions? Is this degree needed? Yes.
I love the line. No new cost anticipated. So
No new cost.
I have no problem with this. I support it.
I did have a couple of questions about this one. And I work in the economic development and chamber space. And so when I saw a certificate in organizational development, I was interested in it because a lot of people go out of state for those training courses. But when I think about that kind of program, I think about it from more of a nonprofit management piece where you're talking about budgeting and all kinds of things. And so the coursework was really different than what I expected when I first started reading this. Can you kind of give me a better picture of where a graduate in this is going to be placed? Is it more kind of a government role? Is it more within a private business? What are you thinking?
There's no one specific place. We fully expect, other than our undergraduates who maybe they've taken emergency management and they're very interested now to get a master's degree in this or something else. We're expecting it to be professionals who are seeking to get in depth into understanding organizational development and to be able to have the understanding of how to put together trainings, et cetera. And one of the professors who will be teaching in this program, his doctorate is in nonprofit leadership studies.
Thank you for that.
And any other questions?
The transition from a BA to an MA, are there any particular courses that need to be taken at the BA level that would lead to this? Or is there a major that would be preferable to move to this?
There's not a major that would be preferable. However, we do at Arkansas Tech University have a bachelor's in organizational leadership. And we expect many of those students would want to continue. Most of the students who are in that program already are professionals out in the field, and they've come to get their bachelor's degree so that they have the opportunity to move up. And that's where we've gotten the most interest from the students at Arkansas Tech at this point.
Is that the 85% figure you quoted?
The 85 was actually for our graduate retention rate.
Okay.
So basically any degree, undergraduate degree would a student could move right into this program without taking additional courses or makeup classes for it.
Yes, sir. That's correct. So you could have an English degree, you could have a nursing degree and come for the master's.
Any
Any
other
other
questions?
questions?
We're gonna vote on these individually
Okay.
at the end. Vote on all.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. Our next action agenda item number 9 is a new program, Associate of Applied Science and Occupational Therapy Assistant at Phillips Community College of the University of Arkansas. So this begins on page 9-1 of the agenda book, and Mr. Campbell will provide background on this item.
Thank you, Chair Baker. The program is 63 credit hour program consisting of 4 semesters of academic preparation, including 16 weeks of field work prior to graduation. Graduates of the program are eligible to take the National Certification Examination administered by the National Board for Certification in Occupational Therapy Assistant. Occupational therapy assistants use rehabilitative activities to help clients of all ages overcome physical, emotional, mental, and/or social limitations to become independent in their daily living. These professionals work in a wide variety of settings such as hospitals, clinics, rehabilitation facilities, nursing homes, community-based settings, and mental health facilities. The occupation is high demand in Arkansas and the associate degree at the associate degree level. The statewide mean of the annual salary for an OTA is over $67,000 with an industry field growth of approximately 25% over the next decade. PCCUA has a Title III grant that will cover program costs for the first 3 years. In the first year, the college plans to hire 1 full-time instructor and 4 adjunct instructors. In year 2, an additional full-time instructor will be hired to work with the second-year cohort. There are 4 similar programs in the state and all are viable. Initial cohort enrollment is projected at 10 students for the first 2 years and increasing to 12 after the 3rd year with a goal to graduate 100% of each cohort. And Dr. Deb King is here to speak to your consideration of the program and respond to any questions.
Thank you. Good morning, Dr. King.
Debbie King is my name. That's what most people know me as. I've been with higher ed for a long time. I've been at the college for 39 years. It's not my last year. Next year's my last year. But we bring a proposal to you today for an occupational therapy assistant program, a new program. I want to thank you for taking the time to review and consider it. I think the work that you do is really important to higher ed, and we know that you have to look through all of these proposals. It's very time consuming. I'm not going to go over everything that Mason just shared with you, but I do think it's important to remind it's a 63-hour credit. Most associate programs are 60 hours in Arkansas, but we needed the 63 for this degree. A considerable number of those hours are in gen ed. 25% growth rate, which is much faster than most occupational areas. 3% is what the overall occupational growth rate is. So that's very important. The earning range is fairly high. Now, I will be honest with you, probably in Eastern Arkansas, we will be at the lower end of that range. A lot of people ask, why would this degree be good in Phillips County, thinking that all the people that graduate from our program are going to work there? We are a corner state. Mississippi, Tennessee. In our nursing programs, we have students from Mississippi, Tennessee, and mostly Arkansas, of course. Our graduates work in those areas. All of our nursing graduates, all of our MLT graduates, phlebotomy graduates, they all find employment. And we believe that another allied health program is what we need. We do have an expectation to seek external accreditation. Our nursing is ASIN accredited. Our MLT program is NACLS accredited. We believe in those accreditations. We have a defined curriculum. We have a lot of laboratory and hands-on experience. Now, this particular program meets workforce needs. We were not required to do an analysis because it's in the high demand, high wage area. We know, for example, that job placement for this will be high. We always help our students find jobs. It may be in West Memphis, it may be in Clarksdale, Mississippi, but we do find jobs for our students. Many remain in our region. So we spent probably 3 years determining what kind of program. We had conversations college-wide. We let people vote on it. We looked at our advisory councils and we asked them, what kind of program do you think we need? And then we looked at industry. And almost all of them said we needed something in the allied health area. And so then we had people vote on what program they wanted. And of course, we looked at some programs that were probably not viable because there was competition nearby. We wanted a program that wasn't going to compete. But we have a large female population. 65% of our students are female. Many of them are single parents. And we wanted a program that we thought would actually change the quality of their life by providing a high enough wage so that they could earn a viable income and support possibly a family as a single parent. We also know, as I said, we spent 2 or 3 years looking at programs, trying to decide what we wanted to do. This became part of our strategic plan. And if you go in and look at our strategic plan, we talk about what we want to do to get this moving. We applied for a federal grant, a Title III grant, and received that grant. And that grant will pay for the first 3 years of the program. You probably already know that the most expensive thing in a program is the first 2 or 3 years when you're buying equipment. The kind of equipment that you buy for this program would be like wheelchairs, hospital beds, wash machines and dryers. What's really interesting is when we started talking about developing this with our advisory committee, many of them came forward. The hospital, for example, said, well, we could give you a hospital bed. And a nursing home said, we have lots of extra wheelchairs. We probably can supply that. So we're thinking we probably will receive some equipment that is needed. Many of the activities that you do to train these students deal with manipulatives, which are far less expensive than in, say, a physical therapy assistant program. So we don't expect costs to be terribly high. We're going to phase the purchase of equipment in year 1 and year 2 using the Title III grant. I do need to share with you that Title III grant is funding 3 things. The infrastructure for technology. COVID forced us into a whole new ballgame with what we needed to do, and we realized that many of our students did not have technology access, and we needed to do a better job of making sure our faculty could provide. So that's one of the things that the grant's paying for. The second thing that it's paying for is what we call a diversity academy. And that is to make sure that not only our students have support, that academy is for them, but it's also for our faculty so that they keep up with it. And then the other thing, the third thing that it funded was 2 new programs, and occupational therapy was one of them. The other program I'll be bringing to you another time, and that's really not a new program, it's a reconfiguration of an existing program. So we believe that this program is going to be very important. It's going to be a game changer for many of our students who would like to enter nursing. It's not quite as rigorous as a nursing program. And many students come to us, they don't know about other occupational programs in the allied health field. So we believe this is going to be very good. All the Arkansas colleges that have these programs have been very helpful providing curriculum, and South Arkansas College has been particularly helpful. They shared so much with us, including a list of what we needed to purchase. I want to end with, before I let you ask questions, that this does meet the high demand, high need, high wage category. It fits our strategic plan, and we spent time thinking what kind of new program we wanted to add that we thought we could be successful with. It projects a high growth rate that 25% is higher than most programs, but also higher salaries for beginning or entry level, which is very important for our place-bound students, many of whom will not actually be working right in our area, but they'll be working in Eastern Arkansas. And then, or maybe Mississippi and Tennessee, because many of our grads do that. The kind of jobs that they can earn, nursing homes, we thought hospitals, and really OTAs are not that prevalent in hospitals, but they are in education. And that was kind of a surprise when we were doing the research. A lot of the co-ops, a lot of the schools hire OTAs, not OTs. They will hire one OT and place 8 OTAs with them, and it saves them quite a bit of money. So I hope you will consider and approve this program, and I thank you for your time. Do you have questions?
I do. I do work in healthcare.
Yes.
I can tell you that trend is starting to change in hospitals, a few more OTAs.
That's good.
My question about anything related to allied health is always about the clinical affiliation agreements. It's one thing to have the enrollments, but to have the agreements in place where these students can go and get the actual clinic experience in a variety of settings. You mentioned schools, but outpatient pediatric clinics, nursing homes, inpatient rehab, home health, and acute care, all settings where they're used. I know with nursing, you'll have several of those set up. Do you have any of those partners willing to take these type of students and have the availability for these type of students? Because in my experience, matching them up with a clinical instructor can sometimes be a challenge.
It is. And we do believe, much like our MLT and our nursing, that you're always vying for clinical spots. As you can see from our letters of support, most of the agencies that we've reached out to have identified that they would be able to place students there. As far as jobs in the immediate area, I would be untruthful if I said we had them there. We don't. And we don't in nursing, and we don't in MLT. But we place every single one of those students. Many of them are hired before they even leave us. And MLT is much like OTA in that it is not as high a demand as you would see in, say, nursing, because the nursing turnover is so high right now. But we do believe that there will not be problems placing them in clinicals, because even the ones that are within our region, and most of your letters are from people that are I think the furthest away is Batesville, Mississippi. And they have agreed, and we've had letters. This was written, in the fall, it goes to the University of Arkansas system and has to be approved by them. And then since then, we've had more letters that have come in with places that were willing to assist us. So I do believe these letters are a commitment to support what we're doing. And as I said before, when we started this, we didn't think education was going to be a high area of placement. And it turns out our co-ops and public schools are a very good source for placement. So
Absolutely. Do you feel like you have enough of those letters in support to meet the demand of those single mother females that don't have the ability to travel for those affiliations?
I think that probably what will happen is that the income is high enough. It's much like our nursing students or our truck driving students. And we're putting out 60 and 75 truck drivers a year. And many of those people are place bound, but they don't work here. I think that we'll see that they have different kinds of schedules, but they would be willing to travel if they have an income where they could buy a car or support their family. But certainly we know, for example, our CNA program, our graduates, I almost feel guilty putting our students in that because the kind of income they're going to get isn't going to support a family. This income is high enough that they could probably pay for daycare, have transportation and that kind of thing.
My experience with OTAs is the demand is just huge for OTAs right now. And I see several students who will have their baccalaureate degree
Yes.
in some other field going back to an OTA program because the salaries are so good.
Mhm.
Just out of curiosity, maybe you know this for the state, the students who have finished OTA programs in Arkansas, because they require an assessment to actually practice later on, once you finish, right? What's the pass rate on that among Arkansas students?
Gosh.
Do you have any idea?
I don't have that, but I think, I suspect it might be fairly good. NCLEX is our nursing program is far more rigorous. I do not have the occupational therapy assistant pass rate. I do know that because you're an OTA, it's not an automatic pathway to occupational therapy. That's a different pathway. You have to have a baccalaureate to go into that, but I can find that out for you, Mr. Carr.
I'm familiar with a student or two who's gone through this program. Granted, it was during COVID, finished the program and then could not pass the assessment.
Mhm.
Just out of curiosity,
Well-
wondered what you knew
Well,
about that.
we will screen. There are admission requirements. They will have to interview. And much like our nursing, the State Board of Nursing requires if you maintain your program, you have to have, I think it's an 80% pass rate. And it's the same with our MLT, and we do quite well with those two programs. We feel like we will with this. I should know that, and I will get that for you.
Thank you.
Okay.
One question I had was about, again, the work partners in this, and you said you don't necessarily have clinical agreements set up yet, but do you have an advisory board of local employers? for
We
this
have
program?
not set up an advice. We have people that are very interested. We have not done anything because it hasn't been approved yet.
Okay.
And higher ed coordinating board approves it, but ADHE is very careful. They don't want us to publicize, I wish we'd publicized it 2 months ago because we're going to have to hit the ground running, but we have everything ready to go.
Okay.
As far as advisory boards, we have people that are excited about the program. We've talked about the possible program at Rotary and different clubs. I don't think we're going to have trouble finding it. And then we have a couple of OTs that have indicated an interest in serving. So I believe that's not going to be a problem.
Thank you. And my other question was, with a lot of OTAs, they're technically self-employed, they're contract employees, whether it's for school districts or home
Mhm.
health or whatnot. Has there been any thought process? Because again, I really appreciated that you really thought about your student population and what their needs are to support their families. I didn't see any sort of class requirement where it kind of talked them through the business of being self-employed and making sure that they were able to capture that kind of knowledge, because that can be daunting. for
It
people.
could be. And in the state of Arkansas, they must work under an OT.
Mhm.
They can't work independently totally. And what we're finding in our region is OTs, occupational therapists, are actually the ones that direct. And as I said before, when we first did this work, we did not expect education. It was just not what we were thinking about. And suddenly we called co-ops because someone mentioned that the co-ops had OTAs. And I said, really? And we started calling co-ops, and most of them will have one OTA who directs one OT who directs the OTA, but they must work under an OT.
Okay,
So,
that's good to know, because that was one thing that I was concerned about, is if they're doing this and then we put them out on their own and then it's their job to basically be their own
Yes,
business, we
yeah.
want to make sure that they're
we're,
successful. in
we're,
that.
we're not thinking a lot of them will be, if they're not working under the supervision of an OT, I don't think they can work in Arkansas.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Next is action agenda item number 10. It's a new program, Certificate of Proficiency and Technical Certificate in Forestry Technology by South Arkansas Community College. And this begins on page 10-1 of the agenda book. Mr. Campbell will provide background for this item.
Thank you, Chair Baker. This 36 credit hour programs consists of coursework in basic forestry principles, forest management, dendrology, sampling, processing, and summarization of data, geographic information systems, and harvesting. Students will also participate in a forestry internship. Upon completion of the first semester, students will earn a certificate of proficiency in basic forestry, which is an 11 credit hour credential. After the second semester, students will earn a certificate of proficiency in forestry technology, which is a 9 credit hour award. And these 2 certificates in combination with technical math and writing lead to the third and final semester of the technical certificate in forestry technology. The design allows for multiple exit points, credentials, and on-ramps for students. The institution will hire 1 full-time director who will also serve as the lead instructor, with adjunct faculty brought in as needed to offer a variety of professional experiences. The occupation of forestry technician is in high demand with a strong $22 average hourly rate and over 1,000 active jobs in each of Ashley, Bradley, and Union counties. No identical program exists in the state, but there are 2 other institutions with similar programs, but both are at the associate level. South Ark has a number of strong industry partners that have also endorsed and supported the creation of the program, and an Office of Skills Development grant will provide funds for program startup and minimal equipment purchases. Projected annual enrollment is 10 students by AY 24, with 10 projected initial graduates by AY of 26. And Dr. Stephanie Tolly-Dartez is here to speak to your consideration of this program and answer any questions.
Good morning. Morning.
So nearly 2 years ago, an industrious member of my staff made a connection between myself and one of our regional employers in the timber industry. That individual wanted to talk about their workforce needs. I thought at that point that I would be helping to make the connection between another existing institution's program and that employer, only to realize after discussing with them their needs for short-term technical training in the forestry area, that no such program was available to meet their needs. They were currently responding by hiring people outside of the industry, hiring people with only a high school preparation, and finding, like many technical fields, a high amount of turnover because of lack of preparation, as well as individuals not necessarily knowing what it's like to work in the woods, to be frank. So upon meeting with this particular company and then engaging with others in the area through to multiple town hall meetings statewide, as well as meeting with related industries such as the timber mills, as well as the Department of Ag Forestry Division, we decided that it would be in our best interest to go ahead and develop such a curriculum to prepare individuals in this field. And then thanks to the support of the Office of Skills Development, we were able to find the money to create the initial support structure and build the program on our campus in terms of the resources needed. South Arkansas College has a unique set of experience, has a unique set of background in technical training. We, of course, have multiple programs, including welding, automotive, and industrial engineering technology, where we prepare students in technical fields for certificates of proficiency, as well as technical certificates. We also have a unique background in that we have management of one of the state parks, including, which is the South Arkansas Arboretum, located in town. And we also have 30 acres of mixed hardwood and pine adjacent to our campus where this program will be housed. So one of the more long-term needs in terms of a program for forestry is the establishment of an appropriate laboratory environment. And thankfully ours has been growing for 100 years. These positions, as Mason mentioned, may start in the 18 to 22 an hour range. We have employers that have already committed to internships. We've got employers that have already committed to sending incumbent workers to start this program. So I don't believe that we're going to have any difficulty getting our first group of students. We've also designed the program intentionally, as mentioned, to have multiple exit points, but I'd like to point that out as multiple progression points. The program is 3 semesters and designed initially to create a knowledge base in that first semester, with the second semester being focused on application skills and the third being on employment skills. In that third semester, there is an internship, but it is our hope and desire, as well as the employers, that they might be able to start pulling students from the program, starting with the second semester and allowing them to both work in the field as well as progress in their academic preparation. That's the goal for all parties involved at this point. Now, the program specifically was designed with the needs of those forest management companies in mind, including because of the curriculum. Again, starting with this is a tree, this is how you grow trees. You need a tree, I got trees. But the other industries, related industries such as the mills, as well as the Department of Ag Forestry Division, have identified that individuals in these fields or with this preparation could be beneficial to them, and they've also made commitments for internships as well. May I answer any questions for you?
In the structure of the coursework, does a student start with certificate proficiency? Do all students start at the same level
Yes, sir.
and then they progress to the second proficiency certificate?
Yes, sir.
How many total hours are there in the program if a student starts at the first level and takes all the courses?
36.
How many?
36.
I didn't add these up. It looks like there's more than 36 there, but maybe-
Sorry, outside of the gen ed. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So you're saying with a 36-hour degree that you're anticipating students are going to come out earning about $45,000 a year, is that?
Potentially. Again, many of our employers are interested in going ahead and hiring them before they even complete. The need is great and the turnover is painful. So as the idea of being able to assist a student in becoming employed in the field as well as progressing while they're already employed is extremely desirable to improve that retention rate.
So the pathway you see for most of these students coming out of the program is probably into the private industry sector?
Yes, ma'am. Primarily the private. However, we have again spoken with folks at the Department of Ag, and there is an interest in the forestry tech program as preparation for the existing forestry tech positions that are within the state structure, as well as Forest Ranger 1. In terms of the preparation that they're provided within our program, the only thing that they feel like an individual would need outside of what training they do at the state level is a CDL. And they have stated that many of the applicants that they already have do not have those. So our applicants would be matching with what they're already looking for.
Is this program structured to transfer into the program over at A&E over at Monticello?
Currently, no. The program at the University of Arkansas at Monticello is intended to be to prepare a bachelor's level forester. That program is accredited by the national organization. It is our desire to help build pathways for students that are interested in that, but we recognize that the immediate need for employment is greater than the need to build that pathway. So it's in our 2-year plan to start working on those kinds of options.
If the private industries you've spoken with are currently hiring high school graduates, getting this certificate, does it come in at the same rate of pay as the high school graduates?
No, sir, it would be higher.
And you make a good point with that is, do you anticipate these students to be full-time students, complete their 36 hours and then go into the workforce? Or do you see it as the company might hire a student right out of high school and then they come to you part-time while they're working to complete this?
Both are options.
Okay.
We recognize that if we say to an employer that comes to us with a need that they had yesterday, that you have to wait another year or two, that we're going to lose that person, lose that employer partnership. So we intentionally structured this. If there is an interest in a learn and earn pathway with the company, that could be pursued effectively with the student and still cover what they need to curriculum wise.
Any other questions? Thank you so much. Action agenda item number 11, new program, Master of Arts in Interdisciplinary Studies by the University of Arkansas at Fayetteville. This begins on page 11-1 of your agenda book. Mr. Campbell will provide background for this item.
Thank you, Chair Bigger. This is a 30 credit hour program designed to support graduate students whose academic interest and career goals are not currently serviced by existing degree programs or span 2 or more subject areas. These focus areas must be approved by an advisor and contain enough coursework at the graduate level to meet the program requirements. This degree completer audience, consisting of non-traditional working professionals, will be uniquely served through this program as it can combine prior graduate coursework completed in person on the UA Fayetteville campus or at other accredited institutions with online offerings in a variety of areas. By utilizing existing coursework and graduate programs, no new faculty will be required for this program. Only 2 new courses, a research methods course and a research capstone course, both offered online, will be required. Costs related to course development will be supported by the university's global campus, and instructional costs for these required online courses will be supported by tuition revenue based on enrollments. Projected initial enrollment is 5 students by AY of 24, with a cumulative projected enrollment of 40 by AY 28. Initial graduates are projected to be 10 by AY of 28. And Dr. Terry Martin is here to speak to your consideration of the program and answer your question.
Morning, Dr. Martin.
Good morning. We're requesting the approval of the new Master of Arts in Interdisciplinary Studies. The Master of Arts of Interdisciplinary Study builds on the success of our Bachelor of Arts program in Interdisciplinary Studies, which currently has 117 students enrolled. The degree requires research and coursework in at least 2 disciplines and challenges students to thematically link their graduate program study through their interdisciplinary thesis and capstone research projects. The program was delivered, as Mason said, on our campus and 100% online. It is modeled after the program of approximately 50 other universities, institutions of higher education, including University of Mississippi, Alabama, Iowa State, Oklahoma State, University of Oregon, and University of Louisville and Boise State, and Arizona State University. The largest programs at other institutions for this degree program enrolls between 80 and 150 students per year. The degree program has 2 audiences. First, it supports graduate students whose academic interests and career goals are not currently serviced by existing degree programs and span 2 or more subject areas across the campus. For example, a new public school teacher attracted to K-12 education can pair coursework in the K-12 online teaching that leads to a licensure endorsement in that area with coursework in technical writing to enhance their ability to teach English composition in an online environment. Likewise, a student in industry wanting to pair interest in data analytics in the business world can link their coursework in business analytics and project management. Second, the program will also support students returning to complete a graduate degree by allowing students to utilize their existing coursework and paired with allied interest in other areas, especially in the online space. And this degree will allow many students who had to move away from campus or interrupt their graduate studies to complete their graduate degrees from a distance with the additional study. The program director within the graduate school will be the lead in helping the students become in that process of identifying the subjects that they will study. The introductory research methods course will be heavily focused on helping students explore options, and their faculty member assigned to teach that course will guide them through the identifying the areas of their concentration. The final project for that introductory course will be to create a prospectus or essentially a research project or research question that thematically links the two areas that they would be pursuing over their course of their degree, executed in the capstone course at the end of their degree. Any questions?
In effect, this permits a student to select and build their own degree.
That is correct. In areas where we may not have something, it allows them to work with the faculty to create that degree for what they're
So
needing.
they can come in and select courses to fit their own need and
Subject to,
earn their own degree.
subject to it, the approval of their, their graduate thesis team. The faculty that has to approve that set of courses. The student can't just choose what they want, has to be approved by the faculty.
Is there a college that you think that will probably utilize this new master's program more than others, such as healthcare or business or?
I think there's probably 4 colleges that would do that. Probably the Walton College of Business, Fulbright College of Arts and Science, College of Education, Health Profession, and Engineering. Probably those 4 colleges would be the ones that would use that this option most often.
That's helpful because I think what we want to avoid is it becoming kind of a catch-all degree for a student who can't really make up their mind on what they want to do. And but I think that it being a master's level instead of bachelor's, that does help solve that problem some on its own. I was just curious when I was looking at the median salary that you had listed here at 51,300. And which colleges you thought this was going to come out of?
It will vary depending upon what their students are, but those are the ones we think it will hit the most.
Do you believe that having a master's in interdisciplinary studies will help make your workforce in Northwest Arkansas and across the state more advanced and competitive overall? Do you think this will give us an edge in that?
I think it will allow us to hit some new areas, emerging areas that we don't have degree programs in that are on the leading and cutting edge. I do think it will do that, yes.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
And I believe you're staying up for the next one as well. So agenda item number 13. It's a new program. It's number 12, Bachelor of Arts in Italian by the University of Arkansas at Fayetteville. And this begins on page 12-1 of the agenda book.
Thank you, Chair Bigger. This 120 credit hour program allows a student to choose between 2 concentrations, transnational studies or literary and cultural studies. The program's curriculum will be comprised mostly of existing coursework and include only 2 new courses. Students in this program will have the opportunity to study abroad at the University of Arkansas Fayetteville's Rome Center. The program integrates language acquisition and intercultural competence through the classroom and co-curricular activities, with the end goal to create global citizens who are prepared to embrace the principal aspects of Italian society and who have critically explored their native language and culture. Italian is the 4th most studied language worldwide, with an average of 2.3 million students. Additionally, 250 million people speak Italian as a second language internationally. The program will be the first of its kind in Arkansas. At this time, no new faculty will be hired and no additional costs are anticipated. Projected enrollment is 15 by AY of 24, with the cumulative enrollment doubling after 2 years. Initial graduates are projected to be between 10 and 12 by AY of 26 and doubling again after 2 years. I'll turn it back over to Dr. Martin.
Thank you. As Mason said, we're requesting the approval of the new Bachelor of Arts in Italian. And through the most up-to-date tools of foreign language pedagogy, the new degree program prepares students to enter the workforce to engage with the world's 8th largest economy. Our goal is to create global citizens who are prepared to embrace the principal aspects of the Italian society who have critically explored Italian native language and culture. Like other foreign languages, we believe the students will most often double major in Italian and complement various other fields they concurrently are studying, especially in degrees in international business, international relations, and a variety of humanity fields. Students have been requesting the Italian major for the last 5 years, and the university is ready to teach, already teaches a significant number of the Italian courses and has an extensive study abroad program at the Rome campus. We anticipate the Italian major to be a popular double major with two main populations of students. Those studying the international business in the Walton College, which currently has 361 current majors, and those studying international and global studies in the Fulbright College of Arts and Sciences with 128 majors currently. Both these degree programs have language study requirements embedded in them and have a high rate of students who study abroad. Market demand, we expect two populations of students. Those, as I said, are in international business, since Italy is the 8th largest economy of the world, and a knowledge of the language and culture in the country is critical in doing business there. Over 200 Italian companies do business within the Italian consulate region that Arkansas is contained, and 25 companies have local offices in Northwest Arkansas that do business with Walmart. Those interested in careers, the other group is those in careers in international relations. Italy is a key member of the European Union, NATO, G7, G20 nation, is a central player in the international and European politics and diplomacy. Students interested in careers in international NGOs and international affairs and international diplomacy would be attracted to this dual major in international and global studies as well as in Italian. Any questions?
Yes, I have a question.
Okay.
Since we last met, Dr. Martin has been named the permanent provost at the University of Arkansas. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Go ahead and give him a hand. Yes. A great choice by that university. I told Dr. Martin over dinner last night, my inclination was to oppose this degree program. Italian is not even in the top 20 languages in the world. It may be the 4th most studied, but it's not a top 20 language. If I'm correct, I think it's only spoken predominantly in Italy, San Marino, and Vatican City. And it's not a language. It's not one of the languages I believe we need in the few years ago that studied the languages of the 21st century. They said it was English because it's a language of business, Spanish because it predominates in 50 countries of the world, Chinese because 1/3 of the world's people speak it, and Arabic because they don't really care for us there. And I think we do have a minor in University of Arkansas in Chinese, but we need some of us to step up and begin to teach Arabic and Chinese in this state. So I was initially going to oppose it until he told me last night that there are even now organizations and businesses in Northwest Arkansas who are requesting this program for their employees. And so you overcame my opposition, and I will support it. But I do hope we'll step up and teach some of the languages this country really needs. And I think that, of course, this Italian is very important in the arts and in drama, but we need some study in Chinese and Arabic in Arkansas.
Has this degree been offered previously at the university prior years? Is it being brought back, or has it been there before?
I don't recall it being offered before. I'd have to look and see at the history of it, but I'm not aware that we've offered a BA in Italian before. Not in my tenure that I can remember in the provost office area. I don't recall that. I can find that out for you, the history of it.
I just, for some reason, I thought it had been offered before.
We've had a minor for a long time.
Okay.
But not a degree.
when I read this proposal, I thought it was really interesting and I came at it, full disclosure, I have an art history degree and especially studied in Italy. And so I saw this, of like, this looks really fun, but where are these global citizens going to work after college? And so I appreciate Dr. Carr's comments on that. And we had this conversation yesterday about it's a dual major. There's some pathways there. There are companies asking for this. Are there discussions about internships in the Northwest Arkansas area? Because these students that are going and studying abroad and learning these things and becoming more, well-rounded, but also have a practical business background, like, those are the people we want to retain in Arkansas, and I think can be very competitive in Northwest Arkansas. But I wanted to hear your thoughts on pathways for them with internships and opportunities.
Certainly in Northwest Arkansas, there's a lot of our business students. There are a lot of internships out of our Walton College of Business that are located in Northwest Arkansas while they're studying. And I would expect there to be, with these double majors, that opportunity will be there. Yes.
Do you expect to have an advisory council of some of these industries to kind of work with you on if it needs to be kind of tinkered with and retooled to really fit their needs?
I would say that from the business college, they do have an advisory council and they will be looking at that aspect of it. But as setting up an advisory council for Italian, I'm not sure we have that for the individual languages. The World Language Department, which covers all of our languages, that may be something that we could look at as far as the advisory council for all of those and how we couple those together.
So is part of the requirement of this program studying abroad at the Rome campus?
I don't think there's a requirement, but a large number of the students do
Right,
that.
of course, you would hope that they
Yeah.
would, and I would think that they would. I just didn't know if that factored in of this being a high cost degree pathway for students to incur.
We have a lot of opportunities and scholarships for students studying abroad. And studying abroad in Italy is probably one of our largest countries that our students go to. We have our Rome Center. Besides the summer study abroad, we have a study abroad that students go for the entire semester in the fall or spring. And this summer, we have the largest class of study abroad that we've ever had. After the pandemic, this is coming back, and this will be our largest class ever studying abroad this summer.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Action agenda item number 13, and one more new program. It's a technical certificate in electrical line worker technology by the University of Arkansas at Pulaski Technical College, which begins on page 13-1 of the agenda book.
Thank you, Chair Baker. This 38 credit hour program includes instruction in electrical circuits and theory, safety, aerial framing, transformers, testing equipment, and more. The program also includes instruction in construction, maintenance, and troubleshooting, as well as pole climbing, pole testing, equipment maintenance, and pole top rescue. This program is a credit-bearing version of the institution's successful non-credit certified power line work and training program, designed to provide quality education along with real-world hands-on instruction to those seeking careers as electrical line workers. External funding for the existing non-credit program ceases in the summer of 2023, and the institution is seeking approval to move to the credit-bearing program. Students that graduate with the TC in electrical line worker technology will also earn a CP in tractor trailer operations, earning a Class A commercial driver's license, or CDL, which is already an approved program at UAPTC. The annual salary range for electrical power line installers and repairs is $38,000 to $81,000, depending on experience, with a median annual salary of approximately $67,000. The program is designed to use pre-existing faculty, resources, and facilities at the college. And the college will absorb any associated costs that were previously covered by external funding. There's only one similar program in the state. The predicted annual enrollment is 30 students by AY of 24, with 28 projected graduates beginning in AY of 26. And Dr. Anna Hunt is here to speak to your consideration of the program and answer any questions.
Morning, Dr. Hunt.
Good morning. Anna Hunt, interim provost at UA Pulaski Tech. Thank you so much for the opportunity to present this proposal for your consideration today. Our program, like Mr. Campbell stated, is currently offered on a non-credit side. So we've already been teaching this curriculum since 2019. In 2018, the Arkansas Energy Workforce Consortium met. And so they identified the need to provide this skilled labor type position. And we've been providing that training in the non-credit sector since 2019. We've graduated 7 cohorts to date. Our 7th cohort graduated last week. We're happy to communicate that we graduated in 90% rate of success in each cohort, graduating 14 students on average. And the placement success rate for jobs is at 93% on average. So we are very proud of that success. We want to continue that success on the credit side. Our funding is ending June 30th. And so we would like to absorb it on the credit side. Students will have the opportunity to earn a certificate of proficiency in CDL as part of this program. And so we're proud to continue with your approval, of course, in offering this for our community. Are there any questions?
How many hours of coursework is this?
This is a 38 credit hour technical certificate, 18 of which is part of the CDL certificate of proficiency. So 20 hours of new coursework, which was already offered as part of the non-credit side.
That's what I was going to ask, is the non-credit tuition the same as credit tuition?
No, sir, we will increase the fees for that program because we are not going to be able to provide individual equipment for our students. We will be purchasing a class set. So total program cost for students will be around $11,000. Currently, they only have to pay $8,500, which is funded by the Office of Skills Development currently. So with the consumables, it will increase slightly.
Yeah, I certainly see the need for this program in the state.
Yes, sir. March 31st was a good reminder of the work that these skilled laborers are doing and are still doing to restore areas of our community. So we would like to continue providing it.
So I live in the area that ASU Newport has this program, and it's very competitive because a lot of young people want to go in and they recognize that there's scholarships available and job placement almost immediately afterwards. Do you see that happening at Pulaski Tech as well? Do you have those
Absolutely.
partnerships set up?
Absolutely. We currently have industry partners, several industry partners. We have an advisory committee that has already been formed and active with our non-credit side. 100% of our advisory committee has already committed to continue on the credit side. We are placing and we are meeting their needs. And so we just expect that to continue on the credit side.
Does Pulaski Tech offer an apprentice electrical program
An apprentice electrical program.
where to be certified in electricity?
We do not have a current partnership with anyone for apprentice work in that area. You know, like I said, this has been non-credit, but it's not really an apprenticeship option. However, we are working on several apprenticeship options within other programs that we do currently offer, including our advanced manufacturing program. And so there is an electrical systems track of that.
Any other questions?
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I believe this is the last agenda item. It's number 14, Institutional Certification Advisory Committee Resolution. Begins on page 14-1 of the agenda book. Mrs. Lana Bowles will provide background.
Good morning. The Institutional Certification Advisory Committee has oversight of online programs from out of state and private institutions. You'll see in agenda item number 14, there are 5 institutions requesting approval of 29 degree and certificate programs. 3 of those institutions are new to Arkansas.
Any questions on this? Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, do I hear a motion to recommend to the full board approval of agenda items number 8 through 14?
I so move.
Second.
Thank you both. Right. One more thing on our agenda information, agenda item numbers 15 and 16. Ms. Tracy Harrell will provide background information for these agenda items and respond to any questions.
Good morning. Agenda item number 15 are the letters of notification that have been received since the January 23 meeting. Letters of notification are reasonable and moderate extensions of existing approved certificates and degrees. They are approved by the ADHE director and must be present on your agenda prior to initiation. As you can see here on this slide, we have 169 letters of notification that we received from 23 institutions. This table summarizes the actions that were requested. It is worth noting that the majority of these were minor curriculum changes with the intent to modernize and adjust for industry and workforce needs. You all have the complete and comprehensive breakdown of the letters of notification in your board book. And although this is not an action item, I will answer any questions should you have any.
Any questions on these items?
Are these notifications just for 1 year,
It's actually for just this quarter,
2 years?
this quarter, since January. So they have a deadline and policy to submit them. So these are all new since we met just a few months ago.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And next is agenda item number 16, which is the letters of intent. These again have been received since our January meeting. These are notifications that we receive from institutions of their plan to offer new degree programs, establish new organizational units, or establish new off-campus instruction sites. But those require your approval. So this is just notification that we have received that intent. As you can see from this slide, we received 12 letters of intent from 6 institutions, with the majority of them being programs that they will present to you for approval in the future. And again, if you have any questions, please let me know.
I think I ask this every quarter, every year, just to make sure I have this straight in my head. Letters of intent, this opens the opportunity for any other institutions to submit comments or questions about it. Is that correct?
Exactly. They are required to submit and send out an email to all CAOs, letting them know of their intent as well as us, and kind of open for feedback from other institutions. And we keep that correspondence.
And they can offer these programs in our state, right?
Well, that would be for you all to decide.
Yeah, I guess my question is, I wish we knew how many students were enrolled into these programs. I know we have no choice except to accept them, but I wish we knew how many students were enrolled. So I'd rather our Arkansas colleges teach these classes of these out-of-state students.
These are new programs.
These letters of intent are for.
Okay, well, I'm even back to item number 14 also.
Yes.
But both of them, I wish that we had wish we knew how many students were enrolled.
Yes, every January I submit the enrollment and tuition report for the out-of-state institutions. So we do collect information on that. So, but I can send you the ones from last year if you'd like.
Yeah, that might be interesting for the Arkansas schools to consider. If we've got some degree program that some out-of-state school is offering here with 75 or 100 students,
Mhm.
I'd rather one of these schools offer it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Could
Yes,
you
I
get
can
that
send
for
that to
us?
you. Yes. Mhm.
Thank you.
Ah.
Do I hear a motion to adjourn the academic committee?
So moved.
You.